So for the first one, we have the base that is this shape here on the end. To find its area for the volume, of course, the first step is to find the area of the base. To find the area of that shape, we have a couple of options. We could cut it into a rectangle and a triangle, or we could just leave it as a trapezoid. As a trapezoid, it has a base of 16 and 8. Remember, we average the two bases together. Then we'd multiply by that height of 6. What would we get for the area of the base there? Careful. So you got 16 plus 8 is 24. Divided by 2 is 12. That has to be times 6 yet. What'd you get? 72. There we go. So you got 72 inches squared. That's the area of our base. To find our volume, what do we do to that? Times the 20 inches. You got it. Which gives us a volume of cubic inches. Very good. For surface area, we already have the area of the base here, the 72 square inches. So what we need is lateral area. What do we need to know to find lateral area? Perimeter of the base. Very good. So for our base here, we have for perimeter, we've got 8 inches here, plus 6, plus 16. How do we find this length? There we go. This is 8 inches. This is 6 inches. So yes, it's 8 squared plus 6 squared equals that length. We'll call it C for now, squared. What do you get for C? 10 inches, good. So it gives us a total there for a perimeter of 40. So 40 inches is the perimeter of our base. So to find lateral area, we have the perimeter of our base, the 40 inches. What do we do with that? You're thinking for a pyramid or a cone. It's just times the height again. It's 20 inches from this base to the other base, and that lateral area is just the distance between bases. So 40 inches times 20 inches gives us 800 square inches. That's the lateral area. We have to add the 72 inches, square inches for the base. Is that it? We have to do the 72 square inches twice because there's a base on either end. So if we add that up, what do we get? (944 square inches is our surface area. Now, before we do the second one, just for fun, how would we convert that into cubic feet? It's not divided by 12. It's going to be divided by 1728. Good. 12 cubed. So that gives us 0. What for square feet? Or cubic feet? 0.83 cubic feet. So 1,440 cubic inches sounds like a lot, but it's less than a cubic foot. How about down here, if I want to convert this into square feet, what do I do? 144, good. What does that give us? Six point what? 6.5, we'll go 6.56 square feet of surface area. I realize I've been kind of pounding those conversions at you, but it is important to remember that they're different when it's square feet and cubic feet. Number 2, to find the volume, again, you have to start out by finding the area of the base. The base is a rectangle and a half circle. So for the rectangle, how do I find that area? 8 times 12, which is 96 square inches. For the half circle, how do I find that area? Okay, 4 squared times pi would be the full circle, so we have to divide by 2. Which gives us how much? 25.12 square inches. And so, of course, that'll add up to a total area of the base of, is that 121.12? Okay. So that's the area of our base. What do we do to that to find our volume? Times that height to 22. Which gives us, was it 2664.64 inches cubed. For surface area, we need the perimeter of our base again. So for the perimeter of that base, we have 12, 8, and 12. How do we find this piece here? What'd you get? Pi times 8 divided by 2. So 12.56 inches, that adds up to then, what, 44.56? So that's our perimeter of our base. So then for lateral area, what do we do with that? Times the 22. So 44.56 times 22, what did that give us? 98? 980.32 inches squared. So that's our lateral area. What do we have to combine with that yet to finish this off? Careful. The 121.12 twice, yes. There we go. Yeah, 1222.56 square inches is our surface area. Not so bad? Okay. Where we left off on Monday, we had started talking about the pyramids and cones. So let's look at a pyramid here again. Somebody give me a number between 8 and 20. 13, okay. So we'll make this 26 across here. And 84 inches tall. Now remember, volume was very similar to our other solids, except we had to do a correction factor. Remember when we did triangles, we found the area of the related rectangle, we divided by 2. Here we're going to find the area of the related box and then divide by 3. So we have to find the area of the base yet. How do we find the area of this base? 26 times 26, very good. Was that 676? And then for volume, times 84, and then divided by 3 because it's a pyramid, right? So what's that come out to be, give us? Is it 18,928 cubic inches? Let's get a little size to her. Any questions on that? So the key to remember is because it's a pyramid, because it comes to a point, we have to divide by 3. For surface area, we need to do our lateral area, of course. For lateral area, we start with the perimeter of the base. How do we find that here? Perfect. 26 plus 26 plus 26 plus 26, or 26 times 4, 104 inches. Good. Now, for lateral area here, it's no longer the height. We can't use the 84 anymore with the perimeter because the surfaces don't go straight up and down anymore. They go at a slant. So remember we said we had to find that slant distance, that slant height. To find that, we made a triangle here using our height. So this is 84 inches here. This is going to be half the base. If this is a right pyramid, that points over the middle. So yep, 13. So how do I find the slant from that? A squared plus B squared, right? 13 squared plus 84 squared equals that slant squared. What do we come up with? Perfect. So we got a slant of 85 inches. That's what we use with the perimeter of our base in order to find our lateral area. So it's that perimeter of the base, 104 inches, times that slant of 85 inches. Now here's where we have to divide by 2 because it's no longer, if we rolled that out, it wouldn't be a rectangle anymore, it'd be a series of triangles. So 104 times 85 divided by 2 gives us 4 what? 4420 inches squared. So that's our lateral area. What do we have to add to that to finish this off? Yeah, 676. And we only have to do it once because there's only one base here. So we had a surface area of 5,096 square inches. Convert that to square feet for me. Sorry, cubic feet. It's cubic inches. Convert that to cubic feet. That sounds right. 10.95 is correct. Remember, it's divided by 1728. It's 12 cubed because it's cubic inches and cubic feet. While we're at it, convert this to square feet for me. Sounds good. 35.39, yeah. Remember, we're dividing by 144 now because it's square feet. For a cone here, somebody give me a number between 8 and 20 again. 9, okay. So that'll give us 18 inches across here. Bless you. And 40 inches up here. So you guys tell me what to do to find the volume. What's my first step that I have to do always to find volume? The perimeter of the base. So how do we find that? Okay, so what'd that give us? .52 inches. Is that what we need for finding the volume? Remember, to find the volume, the first step is always not perimeter of the base, but area of the base. We'll need this. We'll need that when we come to do the surface area. We will still need that. Pi times 9 squared, or 9 squared times pi. Perfect. What's that give us? .254 inches squared. So that's always the first step in finding volume, is to find the area of the base. Always. Now that we have the area of the base, we're going to multiply by a height. But because this is a cone, what do we have to do with that? Divide by 3, yes. Think of it this way. A cone is 3-dimensional, so you're going to divide by 3. When you went from a rectangle to a triangle that was 2-dimensional, you divided by 2. So what does this give us? .391.2 cubic inches for volume. Now for surface area, and more specifically for lateral area, we need the perimeter of the base. We found that. That's the 56.52. What else do we need now? Normally we would use the height, but because this is a cone, we have to use that slant. We need this length out here. How am I going to find that? Perfect. 40 squared plus 9 squared. Equals that slant squared. 41 is what we get. Perfect. So that's 41 inches for our slant. No, I'm just making sure the problems work out that way. Just there's an easy way to figure them out to make it so that it comes out to an even number so you don't get an ugly decimal. Like you gave me the number 9. 9 squared is 81. Half of 81 is 40.5. So it's going to be 9, 40, and 41. If that were an even number, let's say you gave me the number 12. 12 squared is 144. Instead of dividing by 2, you divide by 4. 144 divided by 4 is 36. So it would be 12, 35, and 37. One up and one down from it. So I've got that slant of 41. So to find our lateral area, what do we use? So you got the 56.52 times that 41 slant, yep. And then because it comes to a point, it's a triangle basically, we divide by 2. For area is 2-dimensional, we divide by 2. Volume is 3-dimensional, we divide by 3 for the volume. So what do we get there? 1158.66. And of course, to that we need to add the 254.34. Yes. 1413. It's a lot to remember, isn't it? Yes, you are. Yes. Yes, you will. And I will give you some hints before you go. Okay. So let's practice these just a little bit here. Give me a number between 12 and 20. 12, okay. So we'll go 24 feet here. Now we'll go 35 feet there. So let's start out with volume again. What's the first thing we always have to find when we're looking for volume? Not the perimeter, area of the base. How do we find that here? 24 feet times 24 feet. 576, perfect. What do we do with that? So 576 times our height of 35. Okay, so now do we divide by 2 or do we divide by 3? Yes, it's going to be 3, because this is going to be feet cubed. It's going to be cubic, 3-dimensional. We divide by 3, so that ends up being 67 what? 20 cubic feet. So a little clue to help you remember there is you're going to end up with cubic feet because it's volume, or I'm just going to scribble crap out. Come on. Because, wow, it doesn't like me today. Sure, now it highlights once I erase it. Because you're going to end up at cubic feet, that's feet cubed, that means you're going to divide by 3 for the volume, because you're going to end up with a cubed unit. So that is our volume. For surface area, the first thing we need to find is 24 times 4. It's the perimeter of the base. So 96 feet around the perimeter. So when we did volume, the first thing we had to find is the area of the base. When we do surface area, the first thing we need to find is the perimeter of the base. What else do we need to know then, since this is a pyramid for lateral area? We need to know the slant height. Good. So we'll draw this in. This is 35 height here. This is 12. That's half of our 24. And so yes, that's slant. 35 squared plus 12 squared equals the slant squared. And that came out to be 37 feet. Yeah. So with the information we have, how do we find the lateral area? Perfect. 96 times 37, then divided by 2. Good. Perimeter of the base times the slant divided by 2. What's that give us? 1776? That's patriotic. Square feet. And of course, what do we need to combine with that? The 576 from the area of our base. Giving us a total of and that is our total surface area. Not terrible? Better than a sharp stick in the eye? Okay. Oh, somebody give me a number between 7 and 10. 8? Okay. So for volume, tell me where to start. Area of the base, good. That will be pi r squared. So my radius will be 8. So pi times 8 squared is going to give us 200.96 square inches. What's our next step for volume? So the 200.96 square inches times what? 15, and then we have to divide by 3, yes. So 1,004.8 cubic inches. For surface area, where do we start? Perimeter of the base, good. Since this is a circle, that's a circumference, so how am I going to find that? Pi times diameter, so pi times 16, 50.24. What else do we need to know for the lateral area? We need our slant, right? Come on. The slant. Something seems a little off there. So this will be 15. This is going to be 8, right? So it'll be 15 squared plus 8 squared equals the slant squared. There you go. We get 17 inches for our slant. Anybody have any questions on how to use that a squared plus b squared equals c squared at this point? Everybody's good with it? Okay. So then, what do we piece together for our lateral area? What do we have to multiply? 17 slant times the perimeter of the base of 50.24 and divide by 2. Good. It's going to give us 427.04 square inches. And add the 200.96, right? What's that? Because it comes to a point, so if you were to roll it out, it would be triangular shaped. So 628 square inches is our surface area. For a sphere, this is one of the few times I'm going to give you a formula and just have you accept it. We've looked at this formula before. Anybody remember the formula for the volume of a sphere? The only dimension we have for a sphere is a radius. Obviously, pi is going to come into it. Well, that would be area of a circle. It's actually 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. So here it'd be 4/3. If I give you that this is a radius of, let's give you 9 inches. That'd be 4/3 times pi times 9 cubed. So to enter that in the calculator, you don't have to do the fraction for 4/3. I just do 4 divided by 3 times pi. So I'm just going to put in 3.14 times 9 to the power of 3. So 3,052.08. And that's cubic inches. That's a volume that we get for that. So make sure that formula should be written down somewhere, back cover of your notebook or something where you can find it very easily. For surface area of a sphere doesn't have bases, so it doesn't have area of a base, doesn't have lateral area. All the surface area is on one continuous surface. The formula is going to be 4 times pi times radius squared. It's kind of weird if you take a circle with the same radius, it takes exactly 4 circles to cover a sphere. So for this sphere, it's 4 times pi times that radius of 9 squared. What do you get, 1,017.36? Does that work out? I just guessed on it, so. Okay, perfect. So again, that formula is one you need to have down somewhere where you can find it quickly for the surface area of a sphere. Four times pi times radius squared. So if I give you a sphere with a radius of 6 inches, tell me how to find the volume. 6 cubed, perfect. 904.32 cubic inches, perfect. For surface area, what do we do? Perfect, 452.16 square inches. Not so bad. So everybody get those down. What's that? Kind of. I was thinking more like an LP tank, but that works. So we can have, just like with our areas, we could have composite figures, different shapes pieced together. We can have the same for volume and surface area. Volume is strictly additive. What I mean by that is you can cut it into smaller pieces, find the volume of each of those smaller pieces and add them together. Surface area is not, because when you put pieces together, some of those surfaces are going to get covered up. So they're not on the surface anymore, so we don't need those areas anymore. So for volume of this tank, we have this cylinder, first of all. So we'll find the volume of that cylinder first. I'm going to redraw it to make it a little bit easier to see. So it has a diameter of 2 feet and a height of 4 feet. So to find the volume of that, where do we start? What's our first step for volume always? Area of the base. Our base is that circle, so how do I find its area? Not 2 squared, but 1 squared. So that'll be 3.14 square feet. How do I find the volume from that? 3.14 square feet, the area of that base times that height of 4. So we get 12.56 cubic feet for that volume. The rest of this is way simpler than it looks because it's just 2 half spheres. And remember, we've done this before. You cut them off, you put them together, you just have 1 whole sphere. What's the radius of that sphere? 1 foot. So to find its volume, perfect. 4/3 times pi times 1 cubed, which gives us, we'll call it 4.19 cubic feet. We add those together. It's 16.75 cubic feet. If you're wondering how many gallons that tank would be, it's 7.5 gallons per cubic foot. It's actually like 7.48, but so that's about a 125 gallon tank. Surface area. Let's start with the cylinder portion for surface area. Do I need the area of the bases? No, they're covered up by those half spheres. All I need for that cylinder for surface area is the lateral area. Now this is a regular shape again. I have a base on either end. So lateral area is simply the perimeter of the base. How do I find that for that circle? Pi times 2, pi times diameter. So 6.28 feet. Do I need to find a slant or anything like that here? No, this is a regular shape. My lateral area is the area of the base, 6.28 feet times the 4 foot of height. What does that give me? 25.12 square feet. So that's the lateral area. Do I have to divide by 2? No. If I unrolled this would be a rectangle. It doesn't come to a point or anything like that. So that is the lateral area of the cylinder. Now I need the surface area of the sphere. How do I find that surface area of that sphere? It's 4 times pi. Radius squared. So the radius here is 1. So 4 times pi times 1 squared. 12.56. Good. So that adds up to be 37.68 square feet. So that's our total surface area of those two put together. Now it's time for a break. Let's come back at about 2:30. Just to show you that the way I've shown you how to do things, how things kind of fit together and are not as bad as what you might think. So I'm just going to sketch out the bottom of this house here. So this is 32 feet here, 16 feet, 38 feet, holy crap, 32, 38. Now the rest of this, we need to do a little work. First, you see it says 1 foot overhangs. So that means up above here, there's actually a 34 foot roof edge because it's a 1 foot overhang on each side. So what that means is on the back side here, that dimension is labeled 54 feet, but that is a roof dimension. That's the edge of the roof. So how long is the house? 52, good. So now that we know that that's 52 feet, this is still 32 back here, same as the front. How long does that dimension have to be? Careful. If you got 16 and 32 makes 48. There's only 4 feet left for that one. Because it has to add up to the 52, right? So we have, that's our floor area. Find the floor area for me. Just cut it into 2 pieces, find the area of those 2 pieces. Okay, so let's look through that. So the first piece is 32 feet by 52 feet, which gives us how much? 1,664 square feet. And the second piece is 38 by 32. Gives us 12 what? 1260? 1216, thank you. Square feet. We add that up to get a total floor area. 2,880, good. Okay, we're going to save that. We're going to need that information to answer some questions here later on. Next, I want to find the perimeter of the floor. So I'll have you do that quick, and then we'll go over it here in just a minute. 244? Okay, so if we're adding these up, we'll just pick a corner here. We've got 32 plus 52 plus 32 plus 16 plus 38 plus 32 plus 38 plus 4, and that is 244 feet. So why do I need that information? Well, number 10 is asking for the square of siding. To find the siding on this, you'll see on the left side there that the wall is labeled as 9 feet high on the outside. That's, of course, the floor thickness plus the interior wall height. What's that? Plus, we do have one gable that we'll have to add on here in a second, yes. So for the siding, we take that perimeter of the base, 244 feet, times that height of 9 feet. What's that give us? So 2196 square feet. And Caden's absolutely correct. We had on this side of the house here, there's a gable end. Now that gable end, even though it's only 32 feet on that side of the house, because of the overhang, it's 34 feet, but I did give you that it's 6 feet tall. So how do I find the area of that gable end? Let's see. So 34 divided by 2 times 6, or 34 times 6 divided by 2, which gives us 102 square feet. So we add that together. To get 2,298 square feet of siding area. So that's actually number 10 right there. Number 11 says if you assume the house is hollow, so we're just a shell, but we are also going to assume flat ceilings. You notice that note there as well. I'm not going to make you try to find the volume of vaulted ceilings or anything. You guys haven't, I don't hate you that much. Yeah, we got 20 more weeks left, I suppose. We have the floor area. What was our floor area? 2880 square feet. Assume 8-foot ceilings on the inside. So just times 8, you got it. What's that give us? Was it 23 what? 2340 cubic feet. So that's the volume of the house. BTU is figured for a furnace. Minimum BTU is 2 BTU per cubic foot. That actually is pretty small. Most of the time they go with 3 BTU per cubic foot, just for a safety margin. But to find, so this is actually number 11 right here. the volume of the house. For number 12, careful, multiply by 2. There you go. There you go. So minimum 46,080 BTUs for the heating system for that house. British thermal unit. It's the amount of energy required to heat. I'm trying to remember if it's a cubic inch of water by 1 degree. It's something about how heating a certain volume of water by 1 degree, how much heat it takes. So let's back up to number 9. They asked us to find the area of this roof so that we can shingle it. So looking at this roof, this here is still 16 feet because we had the 1 foot overhang shifted here, but we also had a 1 foot overhang shifted here, so it kind of cancels each other out. What's this distance here going to be? That's still 38 feet. Again, you had a 1 foot shift here for the overhang, but we had a 1 foot shift on the overhang over here. We'll talk about that peak in a little bit. Over here, what's this distance going to be? 34, good. Because it was 32 feet on the wall, we had 1 foot overhang on each side, so it's 34 feet. This back side is labeled as 54 feet. This is labeled as 34. How about this piece here? It was 4 feet before, it's still 4 feet. Again, you get the 1 foot here, but you gain a foot over there. So it ends up just sliding out a foot. This one's 38 feet still. The ridge line of this, it's 38 feet to here. The rest of the way in is half of the 34, which is 17. So 38 plus 17 makes that 55 feet. Well, that's just the ridge. That's right on the top. Now, the slant height there we're going to have to work on. If I look at the gable end here, we're given that this is 34 feet and this is 6 feet. So now we want to look at this triangle here. This is the slant height or the slope length of our roof. How do I find that? Pythagorean theorem. So it'll be 6 squared plus, careful, not 34, 17. There we go, half of the 34. This will come out to be a decimal. So 18.03 feet. So that is 18.03 feet. 18 feet, yeah, I see that. This slope here is also 18.03 feet. This slope here, assuming those two slopes are the same slope, will also be 18.03 feet. Basically, every slope here, since all the spans are 32 plus the overhangs are 34 feet, all of those slants or slopes are going to be the 18 feet. So 18 feet down here, even here, 18 feet. So now we just have to find the surfaces. I'm going to start with this surface right here on this side of the house. It's a trapezoid with a base of 55 feet and 38 feet. And let's just go with 18 feet. We'll go with what it has labeled there, make it easy on ourselves. How do I find the area of a trapezoid like that? Perfect. 55 plus 38 divided by 2, and then times 18. What's that give us? What's that? 837. Perfect. Now, we have another one of those back there that's the exact same size. So another 837. Next, we'll take a look at this piece right here. That piece is a parallelogram. It's 4 feet by 18 feet. How do I find that area? 4 times 18. 72 square feet. So we found that. Let's just keep working our way around here. We'll do this back piece back here. That piece is a triangle. How wide was that triangle? 34 feet, and of course the height is 18. How do I find that area? (34 times 18, and because it's a triangle, we divide by 2. So that gives us 306 square feet. Now, are there any other triangles on here that are exactly the same as that one? This one on front. So that's going to be another 306. Now let's do this back side over here next. So that back side is a trapezoid. We know that the height is 18 feet. What was that, 54? 54 here. We need to figure out that ridge length. Now, since this is 34 feet across here, half of that is 17. If the slopes are the same, the distance there, half the span, and the distance here will be the same. So that would also be 17 feet. So that means, this distance would be 17 feet. This distance would be 17 feet. What would that leave for the ridge? (20 feet). There we go. 54 minus 17 and minus another 17 puts us at 20. So now how do we find the area of that? Perfect. 54 plus 20 divided by 2 times 18, which will give us, it seems a little small. That sounds better. 666. I did not do that on purpose. Hopefully nobody's superstitious. Our last piece is this one right here. That's a parallelogram. 16 feet here with a height of 18 feet. How do I find that area? 16 times 18, which will be 288. So we're going to add up 3,312? Okay, we'll just list them off here quick. I'm sure you're right. 837, 837, 72, 306, another 306, 666, and 288. You said 3,000 what? 3,312? Okay, sounds right. Now that square feet, it asks how many square shingles. Do you guys know how to convert from square feet to square? Yeah, it's divide by 100. So it's just 33.12 square. Yep. So that's it for number 9. For 1 through 8 up top, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7, 8 are pretty straightforward. On 7, 8, I even gave you the slant height, so you don't have to do the a squared plus b squared to get that slant. 5 and 6. The base of that is a triangle shaped like this that is 6 inches by 8 inches by 7 inches. Are there any right angles there? We can double check. The 2 smaller sides would have to be the legs. So it'd be 6 squared plus 7 squared would have to equal 8 squared. Well, 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49, which adds up to 85, and 8 squared, of course, is 64, so it's definitely not a right triangle. So how do we find its area? Hero's formula. So where do we start? The perimeter. So we do the perimeter by doing 6 plus 7 plus 8, which gives us 21. Here's where I'm not very nice to you. We have to find the semi-perimeter. 21 divided by 2, which is going to give us 10.5 inches. So how do we use that to find the area? So it'll be the square root of 10.5 times, there you go, 10.5 minus 6, 10.5 minus 7, and 10.5 minus 8. So that's 10.5 times 4.5 times 3.5 times 2.5. What's that give you for area? 20.33 square inches of area. So the area of the base is 20.33 square inches for 5 and 6. Of course, still need to do a lot of work with that to get volume and surface area. Let's have you in your notes finish off 5 and 6. And then we'll take a look at them and then we'll go from there. So is Logan just like not come to school anymore? Or? Well, I get that, especially if this is your only class on Friday. I understand that. Yeah. Logan's hurting. Logan's got to pick it up. I'm worried about him a little bit. Oh, no, I don't anymore, but yeah. I don't want to see him get kicked out of the program because I think it's a good program. Oh, very true. Actually, it's, I've got students that are up at WITC that are 25, 30 years old that think all they've got to do is come and sit in the seat and not turn anything in, and they think they're going to pass. I had an argument, I know I'm cutting into your work time, but I had an argument with one, it's been 2 years ago because we weren't in class last spring, but I let them make up a bunch of stuff at the end of the semester. So getting to a C+, C plus was kind of a gift. Like, well, I have to have a B or my work won't reimburse me for the credits. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. You didn't get it. Well, can I do extra credit and whatever? It's like, I already let you do a ton of extra credit. I finally had to turn to them and say, if I'm in a class and I know I have to get a B in, and that class meets 48 hours for the semester, I'd show up for more than 22 of those 48 hours. They just didn't get it. It's like, you were here for less than half of it. I can't. Okay, I'll shut up and let you guys find the volume and surface area for 5 and 6. So the volume shouldn't be too bad. Once you have the area of the base times the height. Yep. Surface area is a little bit trickier. So for volume, yeah, we just took that area of the base times the height, which for this, of course, was 20.33 times 6. Yep. I'll let you multiply that out. I won't give you that answer out. For surface area, remember we have 2 pieces. We have the area of the base, which we already have. We'll bring that back in later. We need to find lateral area. Lateral area, since this is a standard shape, is the perimeter of the base times the height. What's the perimeter of the base here? 21. And the height? 6. So that gives us a lateral area of 126. What do we have to add to that yet? 20.33 twice. There you go. 166.66. Give me about 10 minutes of work on the rest of the quiz and then we'll get out of here. Yeah. Which one is it, quiz 7 or the other one? Okay, what do you got? 3 and 9. Okay, for number 3, we've got 24 millimeters, 13 millimeters, and 5 millimeters, right? For finding area, however, we need that dimension, the height. So how are we going to find that? Something's off there. So we have the hypotenuse, we're looking for a leg, right? So it'll be 13 squared minus 5 squared will give us that leg squared. So we'll call that side A. That should be 12. You got it. So then define area. Those are our two perpendicular dimensions, 24 and 12. Just multiply them. Yep. What was the other one? Number 9, okay. Same shape. There we don't have to worry about the 5 or the 12. We're just finding perimeter. So you're just going to add them up. 24, 13, 24, and 13. Well, that extra dimension throws people off a little bit. Sometimes you're looking at it too close and overcomplicating it. Especially when you have so many formulas. You got perimeter, you got area, you got volume, you got surface area, you got lateral area. 3.14, yep. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
What's that? That would work, as long as you found out this was 12, if you had this 12 out of 13. That would work, yes. You're talking about 288? A lot of people do that with trapezoids too. They'll cut off the corners and do triangles and rectangles. Good news is we're almost done with surface areas and volumes and stuff, and we'll move on to weight and capacity measurement and stuff like that. Surface area is squared, it's an area. Volume is cubed. Well, for number 2, you got 8 times pi is the perimeter of the base, times the 12, the height, yep. So that's lateral area. Then to that, you have to add the area of the base twice. Any questions on the problems? If you think you're good to go, I'll let you out of here. You know that new computer I had like 2 months ago that wasn't working?
Yeah.
They finally sent me a message saying we can't figure out what's wrong with it. You're keeping your old one. Yeah. So please. Well, it was the exact same model. There have been some issues with this one since I got it. Like the microphone is horrible. And that one, the microphone did work in it at least. But if you don't have an HDMI output, it's kind of useless. Have a good one. We'll see you later. Oh, yeah. Is the exhaust plugged? Sure.